This is Volusia Today, a public information radio program brought to you by the County of Volusia. Here is Community Information's Brian Vandal and Kevin Captain.
Good morning and welcome to Volusia Today. I'm Kevin Captain and I'm joined by my co-host Gary Davidson this morning. Thank you so much for tuning in. Volusia Today is made possible by our sponsors, the Daytona Beach International Airport, the Ocean Center, Votran, and Volusia Recycles. Good morning, Gary.
Hey, good morning, Kevin. As you know, I usually like to start the show with a little joke, a riddle, something to lighten the mood, lighten the atmosphere. But I'm not going to do that today.
Oh, darn.
And I'm going to tell you why, because we're going to be talking about public protection for the entire show, and that's a really serious subject. And in fact, we just spent the last week recognizing National EMS Week as well as National Police Week and also National Public Works Week. So that's a whole lot of dedicated public servants who really deserve our gratitude.
You know, that is so true, Gary. And, for that reason, it's timely for us in the studio today to have Mark Swanson. He's the Interim Public Protection Director. And we have Jim Judge, who's also pulling double duty. He's the Deputy Public Protection Director and the Interim Emergency Management Director. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for being here. So first of all, the Public Protection Department covers a lot of services, many divisions, and we've got corrections, EMS, fire, the medical examiner, all sorts of different services, and really it's probably too much ground to cover in a 30-minute show. But let's start with EMS. It's EMS week. We know that that's not just another recognition week. It's something that really, truly is special because EMS it's a unique field. The ambulance service technicians, the EMTs, the paramedics, they work very hard. They put themselves in harm's way. What can you tell us about the county's EMS services and what's going on this week with EMS week?
Well, Kevin, to be a paramedic or an EMT, it's a calling. It's not a job that everybody can do. It's a job that requires a lot of critical thinking at very quick times. They get to see people on some of their worst times, so they do a lot of interaction with people and are able to provide the care to people that is going to improve their quality of life. So it's very important that we recognize them. This is kind of the community's opportunity to thank those EMTs and paramedics for what they do every day. So if you see an EMT or paramedic on the road today or anytime this week, just shake their hands, say thank you for what you do. That will be very much appreciated by those crews.
That's great advice because we know that we have this dynamic deployment system with Volusia County EMS, so it's very common for the public to might be able to see an ambulance parked in a 7-Eleven or a nearby grocery store, something like that. They're not on break. They're actually posting and being moved around geographically so that they can minimize their response time. But like you said, if any of us from the public see that, stop by and have them roll down their window and tell them thank you.
Just a kind word sometimes it goes a long way with those EMTs and paramedics.
It sure does.
Their job is really hard and they do a great job every day.
Especially with all the extra arduous type of work they've had to do during the pandemic.
That's correct. The last 2 years has been difficult with all the the personal protective devices that they have to wear when they go in to see patients. So it's been very challenging over the last couple of years, but they've all stepped up and done a great job.
That's great.
Kevin, Mark and I both have an emergency medical background. We both maintain our paramedic licenses, so we have a special feeling for these ladies and gentlemen who perform that work every day because Mark and I have both been there and done that. So we know the stressors, we know what they see and do every day, and it's a huge job for.
It certainly is, and I share that with you too. I in my early days working in the field, that's where I met my wife. She was my paramedic partner for a little while, so I know how hard of a job it is, and how much more demand there is on EMS today as a system, not just here in Volusia County, but across the nation.
Exactly.
Yeah, those EMS personnel, they really are a blessing. I don't know any other way to put it. They're a blessing, and we're so fortunate to have them. So we just singled out EMS, but in reality, every area of public protection is usually important. It's also a very challenging work, and it's really a difficult and stressful environment, and at times quite a dangerous job. To me, you could double, triple, even quadruple their pay, and it wouldn't be enough for the job they do, keeping us safe. So it really takes a special kind of person to work in public protection, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. It's a commitment. It's what we do, and it's just like Mark said earlier. It's just not for everybody. So whether you're an officer on the beach, whether you're a paramedic for emergency medical services, whether you're a firefighter, when you're in the fire service and everybody's running out of that burning building and you're the one running in. Animal control, our animal control officers do an incredible job throughout the community, rescuing injured animals, just coming to help with spay and neuter clinics, and just so much going on in all these divisions, and special people in each area.
And our beach safety officers, they wear 3 hats. They're law enforcement officers, they're lifeguards, and they're emergency medical technicians. And they're changing hats multiple times during the day. So that's a challenge, and not everybody can do that. So one minute they could be dealing with a driver in the traffic lane down on the beach. The next minute they can be dealing with a swimmer in distress in the ocean, and then finally the next minute they can be dealing with somebody having an emergency medical problem. So they have to change those hats often.
Sure.
And it takes a special person with special skills to be able to do that.
I'm really glad you brought that up, Mark, because, you were previously the beach safety director, and previous to that was Volusia County EMS, or the EVAC under the foundation director. People who live in Florida, they come here to mostly enjoy the beach and some of the other attractions in the warm weather. But if you look at all of the beaches in our state, not many counties have beach safety personnel who are triple certified, like
Correct.
ours are here in Volusia County. Not only is that truly unique, but that gives us so much higher of a level of service to our residents and to our tourists.
It does, and we want our tourists to come. We want our tourists to have a great time. We want them to stay safe, and we want them to come back again.
And when we're talking and showcasing about EMS Week, we can't forget beach, because
correct.
they're all EMTs, and it's tied into that triple certification.
Yes.
And again, the fire service, EMTs and paramedics in our fire service that are also first responders at the basic and certainly at the advanced life support level, so they're right there, shoulder to shoulder, providing that emergency medical care. EMS comes in to pick up and carry on and transport the patient. So it's a real team effort out there. And I think that's what's wonderful about public protection is, everyone working together. The division directors, it's just a great team that we have here in the county.
It really is. We had Chief Smoke and Chief King here from Volusia County Fire Rescue, and they told us about a lot of the cool, exciting things that are happening at Volusia County Fire Rescue. And I think when we were talking about this with this EMS Week and how the importance of the team, I love what it says on their trucks. One mission, one team. So important.
Exactly.
It is.
Yeah, you really touched on that, Jim. What really strikes me is it's a unified system. They're not separate divisions staying within their silos. It's everybody working together.
It's the truth. And of course, we can't leave out our municipalities. We have multiple cities that also respond at the advanced life support level. We're working with DeLand to get to the advanced life support level. They're currently basic life support. But it really is a comprehensive emergency medical system involving both the EMS portion through our ambulance service, but then also through our county fire and our municipal agencies as well.
So, Mark, in the last county council meeting, well, not the last meeting, but a couple of meetings ago, I think there was several meetings where you presented on the service levels and the budgets for the entire Department of Public Protection. And you described not just the budget issues, but also the challenges that each of the divisions under public protection, what they face. And, Gary knows I always like to say, the word challenges really is more, it's opportunity is what it comes out to. Tell us a little bit about the challenges and how that they're not necessarily unique just to Volusia County. There's
Exactly,
also nationally affected.
One of the biggest challenges that we have is staffing, staffing, retention, and recruitment. So, and it's not just happening here in Volusia County, it's happening all around the United States. So our challenges are to not only get good qualified applicants to apply for the job, but it's also taking care of the ones that actually work here now. So it's not only about recruiting people, it's about retaining the employees that we have now. Like I said, this is a really hard job, and not everybody can do it. Therefore, there's a small pool of people that actually apply for these types of jobs. So it's a challenge, but we have a great HR department, and we have some other great departments in the county that assist us in getting these applicants to apply and getting them in and working in the system. But we have a great medical director that gives good direction to all of our EMT and paramedics. They do work under his license, so that's a good thing. And we want to get good quality EMTs and paramedics to work, and then obviously we want to maintain them and keep them here as well. So that's been a little bit of a challenge, but we're getting through that.
Before we go on our first break, Mark, I know that Volusia County EMS will train someone. There's a lot of opportunity to kind of get into the organization and then earn the training to become an EMT paramedic.
Absolutely.
How do they do that?
We've come to the realization that we need to grow our own paramedics. So some of the things that we've done, and Chief Coleman that came to us a little while, probably a few months ago, has done a great job in that. As what we're trying to do is we're trying to grow our own paramedics. So we may hire him as an ambulance supply technician first, then we can then put him through EMT school. We can put him through paramedic school, and then once we get him out of paramedic school, we put him through an extensive clearing process where they're able to function as a lead paramedic in the field. But we didn't do all that by ourselves. We had a lot of assistance. Daytona State College helped us with some sponsorship programs to get some of these new employees into training, such as EMT or paramedic. There's a lot of other entities that have helped us in this process. So we are moving forward. We're trying to grow our own. And then obviously we'll work on retaining them as well. But we always want the citizens out there to know that we're hiring the best of the best, because after all, those are the people that are going to be responding to your houses and providing medical care for you.
Excellent. We're talking with Mark Swanson and Jim Judge with the county's Department of Public Protection. We'll take a quick break and come back. Stay with us.
And we're back. I'm Gary Davidson along with Kevin Captain, and you're listening to Volusia Today, a public information program brought to you by the County of Volusia.
Thanks, Gary. So, Mark, you have started from its infancy, CISM. Gary, tell us a little bit about that acronym.
Yeah, so we want to talk about the county's critical incident stress management program that Public Protection Department operates. Everyone we know experiences stress at work. Sometimes they're little stresses, and sometimes they're very big stresses. And certainly county employees are no different in that regard. So I know the idea behind this program is to make sure that the emotional needs of county employees receive attention when necessary, and to make sure the staff remains fit and able to continue serving the public. So Mark, why don't you tell us about the Critical Incident Stress Management Program, because it's really an important program in the workplace.
It is, Gary, and CISM, Critical Incident Stress Management, is a procedure that was developed in the late 80s, early 90s by Dr. Jeffrey Mitchell and Dr. George Everly. And what this program was, it's like psychological first aid. So what you do is you make sure you take care of the psychological well-being of your employees. Our employees are very important that we keep them on track. And we have a program that we developed about 20 years ago, and I started the program with several other people in that time. And we've kind of just evolved through the last 20 years, but we're at the point right now where it is such an important topic right now about people dealing with stress, and EMTs and paramedics dealing with stress in the field. And we're a very proactive department where if we hear of a bad call that's out there now, we're more proactive to call that paramedic or call that EMT after the call and say, number one, just ask them, are you okay? The majority of the time, that's really it's all required, but we want to be very proactive, because certainly we don't want somebody to experience that bad call and then take that home with them. So we have probably about 40 people on our CISM team right now. We actually just submitted a grant recently to provide some more training for the team and to grow the team. Our plan is to, over the next 2 years, is to have 4 classes of 25 applicants that can come in there and learn the processes and be able to be part of that team. So the great thing about the grant is it's not just about public protection CISM team. This is the CISM team for the whole county. So we're going to include some of the municipalities on this team. They employ paramedics and EMTs as well that can experience the same type of stressors after calls. So we're going to let them be part of the team and be able to help us out as well. So like I said, we're very proactive. We want to take care of our employees. You never know what they're going to be dealing with out there, and we want to be part of that and making sure that they're getting the responses and they're getting the treatment that they need if they have a problem.
Well, psychological first aid, that's just a perfect way to describe what it is that you do with this program. And so specifically for an employee who needs that kind of emotional support, what exactly are you able to do for them?
So there's called the diffusing and there's called the debriefing. So diffusing is utilized about 12 to 24 hours after the incident. So sometimes it may be just us going in there and getting with the employee, sitting down, talking to the employee. We're trained to do these diffusings. A lot of times that's all it takes. But if it's a little bit more and involves more people, we can do what they call a debriefing, and that can be done up to a week after the incident. So we have the avenue to perform both, and we do both. And we have different people on the team. We have a very diversified team, and the reason why I need a diversified team is because if it's a paramedic, they want to talk to another paramedic. Mm-hmm. If it's a law enforcement officer, they want to talk to another law enforcement.
Makes sense.
They want to talk to somebody who understands what their job is and what they're going through. If it's a firefighter, they want to talk to another firefighter. So we have all those avenues available to them for that reason. We have a great team. I can see now our average response time for a call out is about 30 minutes to 45 minutes. So we're always by our phones, ready to respond if need to be. We bring in one person to evaluate the situation. If it requires more, then we ramp up the team and we bring in more people. But we're always standing ready to respond. We truly care about our county employees, and it's not just the public protection employees, it's any county employee.
Any county, yeah.
Any county employee that has an issue, we're able to respond to that. We're even going to make our team include also people from public works, fleet maintenance, because those people can have issues too that they need
Sure.
to talk about, and they want to talk to people that understand their jobs. So it's very important that the team is diversified, and we're going to continue to do that as we grow the team.
I mean, there's definitely been a lot of stressors for many people, both on and off the job. And speaking of public protection, if you have an incident, a strange case, a difficult case, I imagine you still get that sort of initial response where maybe a staffer will say, no, I'm good, I'm okay, and it's maybe somehow that sort of badge of honor. But we know that at the end of the day, we're creatures of emotion, not
Exactly.
logic. And it must be great that they're talking to another fellow colleague.
It is, but it's also important that when we do debriefings, which involves a good amount of people, probably, could be 10, could be 15 people. There's people that say, no, I'm okay, I don't need to talk to anybody. I'm okay, I can just go along the way. We encourage that person to be part of the debriefing because what something they say in there may help somebody else.
Absolutely.
So it may not be bothering them at that point, but they may say something that somebody else in the group thought, wow, it's okay for me to experience that. I tell people all the time, it's a normal reaction to an abnormal situation, and we can get you past that. And of course, if we get to the end of the diffusing or the debriefing and we feel that they need additional counseling, then we can always utilize our employee assistance program for that as well.
Moving onward and upward in public protection.
Absolutely, and so fortunate to have that program, have that team, not only for the employees, but equally so for the citizens that we serve, to make sure that the employees are emotionally fit and ready to do their job.
And we've gotten an enormous support from the county manager and the deputy county manager on this. They support this program and provide us with the tools that we need to do what we do.
Good stuff. Well, let's talk about technologies for a moment. I mean, you've certainly added a great level of service with the CISM program. What kind of new technologies are you adding to some of the divisions in public protection?
Well, there's lots of technology out there now, and we rely on some of the new younger employees to help us out with that technology at times, and it's a great thing. But we have mobile data terminals that are actually on every single ambulance that responds, on every single beach safety vehicle that responds. Those actually are how the call comes to us from dispatch, and we can read the notes in those calls. And we can know a lot about the call as we're responding and prior to arrival. So we can get the updates on that the dispatcher may be able to put in there. So that helps us out. We use programs out there now for our computerized medical documentation that the EMTs and paramedics, when they go out there and do their thing out there for medical care, they have a tablet that they can actually create their medical documentation in. So that's another area. And, we have the capability out in the field right now to transmit 12-lead EKGs into the hospital emergency room. So not only is that doctor able to see what the EKG rhythm is and what the potential problem is with that person with a cardiac problem coming in is experiencing, but they can also ramp up the cath lab and other avenues in the hospital, things that can expedite that care. We all know that time is an essence right there to get those person to the care that they need. We also have video laryngoscopes out there. Somebody's experiencing a breathing problem and we have to insert an endotracheal tube. There's actually a type of laryngoscope now that has actually a video on there that actually shows us the location where that tube needs to be inserted.
You see the vocal cords
so we
and
can
everything.
actually see the vocal cords for that. And then finally, we have the drone technology out there now, and we have beach safety using drones to identify parking spaces that are available on the beach on busy weekends. We use the drones to do many things. So there's a lot of technology out there, and we're embracing every part of it we can.
A lot of stuff's changing since those emergency days.
Yes.
Television show. We're talking with Mark Swanson and Jim Judge from the county's Department of Public Protection. We'll take our last break and come back and talk about the H season. Stay with us.
Hello, Tom Sisko coming to you from the Volusia County Emergency Operations Center. Severe wind damage and flooding can be expected with any tropical cyclone. It is important that you have a plan and know how to execute it in the event of severe weather. If you live in an evacuation zone, make sure you secure your home and head for safety. Keep fresh batteries in your NOAA weather radio in the event the power goes out. And download our free emergency management app from any smart device.
Get ready, it's time for another Volusia County Fire Rescue Fire Safety Tip.
Another good tip for the kitchen is safety for the children. We want to create a 3-foot zone of safety around the stovetop so that children can't access and get burned.
You can access Volusia County government online at volusia.org. Listen to county council meetings, pay for permits or tags, or search the property appraisers' databases. Volusia.org is your Volusia County government information resource.
We're back with Volusia Today, and sorry, Gary, I'm jumping right on top of you there.
No, you're good. Go right ahead.
Hey, well, with our 2 or 3 minutes left, Jim.
Yes, sir.
The H season. Where I'm told I can't say that word because we're not going to have any of those storms, but what does the crystal ball of yours say?
Well, right now the experts are telling us it's going to be an above average season. Once again, we have La Nina, and of course we've had La Nina now for the last number of years. And, so 2020 we had 30 named storms, 21 we had 21 named storms. So it doesn't look good, so it's just the more reason we need to be prepared. And another statistic that came out, since 2017, we've had more Category 4 and 5 hurricanes than the previous 50 years. So, it's a good time. There's nothing out there right now, so it's a good time to review your plans, review your checklists, and get ready for the upcoming hurricane season.
So we're about a week away from the start of the hurricane season. What are you doing in emergency management to get ready? What is your number one priority?
Well, we're training our county employees in what we call the Citizen Information Center, that those folks are available to answer questions both before, during, and after a hurricane, tropical storm. EOC orientation programs for those folks who are new to the county and haven't been through the EOC before. Also, working with our municipalities and our community partners, working with the school district on the sheltering. So many things that go on for months. We really prepare all year long, but certainly we get into April and May ahead of hurricane season, and then continuing, right through the Hurricane Center to review our plans, procedures, and make sure that we're ready to go should anything stir up and come our way.
Good stuff. Good stuff to know that you're definitely planning all the time year round. That's important.
It is, but while we're prepared, it's our citizens that we really need to also take hurricane season, individual responsibility. So, we need the citizens to do their part and to get prepared.
Excellent. Well, in our less than 1 minute mark, what keeps you up at night, or do you sleep well in this job, being the Director of Public Protection?
Well, Kevin, sleep's overrated anyway. But,
yeah, right.
But I would say that first and foremost, my concern is always the safety of our employees out there at all hours of the night working, doing the things that they do. That is paramount to me, is their safety. Also, I truly care about the community, and I want to make sure that the citizens out there that want our assistance, that need our care for them, that they get the best service possible. I want to make sure that every call that we respond to, that we meet their expectations and that they get the best care possible.
Spoken like a great leader.
Well,
thanks, Mark, and thanks, Jim. And with that, we'll close Volusia Today. Thank you for listening. Take care, stay safe, and help your neighbors. Have a great today.
If you have a comment about Volusia Today, or if there is a topic you would like to hear featured, please contact Volusia County Community Information at 1-866-345-0345.